I just thought, why would anyone want to knowingly or even unknowingly put something like that on their skin? They market their brand as natural and free from this and free from that.
Because there's such a misconception. It's something I'm very passionate about, because all of my friends and everyone I know go, yeah, but it has to be natural. This is natural. It's like, have you read the bottle of ingredients?
So I personally always consider beautiful skin as a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
You can go spend thousands of dollars on the most beautiful beauty products and beauty treatments. If your diet is crap, it will ultimately show in your skin.
Mm-hmm. Still, the average consumer doesn't actually understand what is in their product, and they're just influenced by whatever is circulating on the latest TikTok or Instagram reels. Hey, I'm Beck, dermal therapist, makeup artist, and host of Your Glow Code, the podcast where we talk all things skin, health, confidence, and living your glowiest life. Hit that subscribe button and give us a like, and leave us a comment below. It helps more than you know. And now for today's episode. Hello and welcome back to Your Glow Code. Today we're talking with the lovely Mel from Merindah Botanicals. Hi Mel, how are you?
Hello, I'm great, and thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. Mel has this incredible skincare brand, and it all stems from this wonderful story, well, maybe not so wonderful at the time, but this incredible journey that she had, having a skin reaction to products that she used from the supermarket. Would you like to tell us a little bit about this reaction you had, what this led you to researching and discovering, but also how having such a reaction made you feel, especially as a woman going out and about and doing all things in life that can be quite debilitating?
Yes, yeah, definitely. All right, I'll go back to the start.
Yep.
It was many blue moons ago now before I started. So for someone who's got no known allergies, I was quite shocked to see my face swell up beyond recognition, and I couldn't see properly for days, which led me on a journey of research and discovery because I couldn't understand why it was happening. So I started to look into ingredients that are used in regular skincare products, in particular those that are readily available at the supermarket and other giant pharmacies and things like that. And I, to this day, and it's been nearly 14, 15 years, cannot believe that ingredients used in skincare products are also used in garage degreaser and brake fluid. And when I discovered this, I was like so in disbelief, in shock. I just thought, why would anyone want to knowingly or even unknowingly put something like that on their skin? And then I also moved on to the so-called natural skincare products, because there's so many natural, and I always put natural in quotes.
Me too. When people say natural, I go,
Yep, exactly. There are just so many brands on the market. They market their brand as natural and free from this and free from that. And, then those ones they're saying contains, 3 natural ingredients, label it big on the front, making people believe or think, oh, this is a natural product. It's fantastic. But then when you look a little bit closer at the actual ingredient listing, you'll find that they're still using synthetic ingredients. Those that are saying our brand is natural, in particular, they would be using synthetic preservatives to keep their product shelf stable for longer. But not all of those ingredients are good for the skin. And personally, as a consumer myself, I feel being lied to. Like, it's not like a trustworthy brand if they're saying free from this and free from this, and everything's good for you and it's natural and things like that, because it's not. There are just so many claims, and it's all about the marketing. So the bigger your marketing budget, the more you can spin it. And then I got myself a diploma in organic skincare science to learn how to formulate products from scratch myself. So it's not like I've gone to a chemist and say, I want to create a skincare range. Can you formulate the products? So it's all my own, which I'm very proud of, because there are just so many celebrities on the market. Celebrities are going to companies and say, I'll formulate my own skincare range for me, please.
Yeah,
and
please.
They wouldn't even know to what degree you have to heat up your ingredients or let them cool down before you can add essential oils, for example, right?
Yeah.
Let alone know how to spell the word ingredient. And And so then I obtained my diploma in organic skincare science, started to formulate the products myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically my skincare range was born, which is Merindah Botanicals. And when I talk about my products, you will never hear me just say natural. I always say 100% natural because it's super important for me to make that differentiation, because my ingredients are 100% natural, including the preservatives. And so it's a 100% natural skincare range for busy women who don't have time for lengthy or complicated skincare routines, because as you would know, we're all so busy, we just don't have the time for 10 or 12 steps in the mornings in particular. I mean, literally, God bless those who do have the time. In all this time I've been doing this, I've only met one person who says she loves her 12 steps, and good on her.
Yeah.
But she's literally the only one. And so we just need something quick, simple, and effective, and we want to be out the door, right? And so all my products, I have a one product per category approach. That means I don't have 5, 6, 7 different moisturizers for you then to go on my website and having the hard time to work out which one do I need.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm making it super simple in that regard as well. It's only one of everything. And it's basically all you really need to have beautiful skin. And then just moving on a little bit further from that as well, as women, we don't have time for self-care either. Or if we do, we have this common misconception. We believe that you either have to take a day off work, or you have to find a babysitter, or you have to, send a hubby away and things like that. And but my products basically also give you that little bit of self-care in a bottle, because basically when you're applying my products in your skincare routine, it automatically turns it into a beautiful self-care ritual without having to add extra time.
That's so beautiful. I really love that. I think there's so much in there to touch on, but I love that it's self-care in a bottle, because we really do. I think sometimes we feel guilty if we take time off, or we do things, or feel like we have to take that day, or we can't, 12 steps is a lot. And don't get me wrong, when I started my skincare journey, I had like so many steps, and now I'm like, let's just get this on, let's get going. It's just going to work really quickly. But to have that self-care moment and know that what you are using in that bottle is actually self-care is so beautiful, because there's another wonderful skin expert I know, and she always says, not all skincare is skin care. And it's so, so true. And I really love the way that you touch on the fact that, like, a lot of brands say they're natural, and they're not, because they're such a misconception. It's something I'm very passionate about, because same as you, obviously, because all of my friends and everyone I know, yeah, but it has to be natural. This is natural. It's like, have you read the bottle of ingredients? Like, that is not natural. It just says it. And then the marketing claims, which that's a whole nother topic, really. But I think that's really, really utterly incredible. So your brand has won 45 awards. Is that right?
That's right.
That's incredible. Absolutely. And you stock in clinics and things like that as well? So
Yes, so I'm just starting my wholesale journey at the moment, actually. So I've got a few stockists locally here in Tasmania, and I'm definitely open to branching out over to the mainland. From the feedback that I have been getting from some of my customers so I've got a while's been using my products in facials, and funnily, those people actually reach out to me after they had the beautiful experience of having a facial with my products, and they are amazed how beautiful they felt on their skin and how beautiful they smelled, and then they just couldn't help themselves but walk out with the whole set to continue at home. So I do believe it is a beautiful, simple skincare brand to use in a salon for those who have the more holistic and natural approach, because it just makes people or women just feel amazing as well.
Yeah, that is incredible. Absolutely. What a beautiful journey for you as well, to come from, like, you have that reaction, to then delving into all of that, to then creating something that you can use safely, to then changing people's lives with this beautiful range that you've got. I think that's really beautiful. I'd really like you to touch, just because you have done that diploma of organic skincare formulation, to help people understand a little bit about the difference, I suppose, between what isn't natural and is natural. Is that something you could help us with a little bit?
Yes, the pronunciation of the ingredients is going to be a little bit tricky, but
That is okay.
so a lot of the so-called natural beauty brands,
Mhm,
they would be using ingredients like sodium benzoate, which is
mhm,
quite a popular ingredient. So it's a preservative that can sometimes react with other ingredients, potentially impacting skin health. Another one very commonly used is potassium sorbate, which can
mhm,
disrupt the skin's natural balance, especially if you have sensitive skin. And then another one, that's the one where we're struggling to pronounce it. It's called phenoxyethanol. So a very, very common preservative known to cause irritation, in particular for sensitive skin. And really so many, like literally almost every so-called natural skincare brand is using that in their products. And in particular, those are saying free from this and free from that. And I can guarantee you, I'd probably put $100 on that you will find that
mm,
ingredient in their products. And there's a lot of major Australian natural
mhm.
brands on the market that are using those ingredients. Like obviously, I'm not going to name anyone,
That's
um,
okay.
but yeah, I'd be surprised if you wouldn't find that.
Yeah, that's actually really quite scary because, I mean, the average consumer, I mean, we do live in a world now, I feel, where everybody seems to be a skincare expert. And thanks to
Oh,
social
yes.
media and everything, everybody's got this and that. And I think on a daily basis, so I saw this thing on TikTok where somebody does this
Mm.
to skincare and I go, oh, okay, cool. I mean, occasionally there's something really good, but still the average consumer doesn't actually understand what is in their product, and they're just influenced by whatever is circulating on the latest TikTok or Instagram reels and things. And I think it's so important that we can educate correctly about what should and shouldn't be in products and what natural is and what natural is, and it's also that same thing, I think, where you can have a natural product and if you can eat it, it doesn't necessarily mean it should go on the skin. Or if it's a natural product or a natural plant, doesn't mean it should also go on the skin just because it is a natural thing. You can have a reaction. Sometimes they go, well, poison ivy it's a plant, but you're not going to put that on your skin. And it's just education. I think a lot of those things, definitely.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
There's also a few apps on the market where they say consumers can look up products and brands and things like that. And it's also just something that I thought might be worthwhile bringing up because
Mm,
personally for me, like I'm a super small business, my budget is like literally non-existent. So there's a lot of those bigger brands that do have the budget, they
hmm
can afford a listing in those apps. So it's always like I always say take it with a grain of salt, because like small brands like myself
Yeah.
were 100% natural but just don't have the budget to list
hmm
on those apps. So yeah, I wouldn't always go by those brands that you can find on those apps because they just have the money to be on there.
Yes, I completely. You know what? I think that's a very, very valid point because money talks in every industry,
Mm.
but money definitely talks. And it is so hard when there is such a beautiful small brand that could and should be on those apps. But obviously, we can't, budget is a huge thing. And a lot of, I suppose, entrepreneurs out there will definitely resonate with that one. I also feel like some of those apps are a little misleading as well. So, like you say, definitely take it with a grain of salt. Definitely. So I suppose talking about then a little bit about that entrepreneurship and things and self-care, I think as someone who is also a little bit of that myself, I like to take on the world and suffer a lot of burnout and stress, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. How have you got a burnout story? How do you yourself manage your own self-care and your entrepreneur journey and not burning out and all of those things?
Yeah, I've gone through burnout more times than I can count, and I would have liked to. So I can definitely share quite a few things on that as well. In it, obviously, all it happens to everyone differently. So the symptoms are quite different and how
Yes.
severe the burnout is and things like that. So I can only speak from personal experience, but the first time or a couple of times was feeling like I was in a really deep dark hole I had to dig myself out from. Drinking a glass of water or even brushing my teeth was a massive effort. Most of those days I was so extremely tired by 11 a.m. that I felt like lying down for a nap. So that was really, really extreme. And then other times it was just more the mental side of things where I felt like that I've just overthinking something and then my mind was just completely drained and exhausted and tired. And so it really depends on each individual how it shows. But for me, I have to say, like, I'm incredibly fortunate that I've gone through burnout so many times that I now see and know the warning signs. Like, my body is literally telling me, if you don't stop, you're gonna go back into burnout. So for me, for example, it's like, I don't know, it's actually quite hard to say. Sometimes it's like the stomach feeling, and sometimes it's just the mental side of things where it's like giving you the warning signs. And what I do is generally I just step away from anything that I'm doing. And sometimes it's also really hard because I literally need to force myself to stop thinking. And there's a couple of ways that I have learned to work with that. So, and even if you are in burnout or when I am in burnout, is a few beautiful things that I do to ease and calm my mind. So one thing is coloring in. It is the most soothing mind activity ever because you are doing something, but you don't have to think. And for someone who's always thought coloring in doesn't do anything for me, it's funny how it changed for me, thinking that this is the most beautiful thing you can actually do for yourself, especially when you're in burnout. It's funny. So that's my number one activity I'm doing when I'm like really burnt out. But then also just knowing when you need to pause. You don't have to end up in burnout to realize you need to pause. Just every now and then, like even on a weekly basis, just step away from everything and do something else. Like it doesn't have to be like, I mean, you don't have to book a day in a day spa. I mean, you can if you want to, obviously, if you've got the time, but it doesn't have to be this major. It could be just taking your dog for an extra walk or just sitting out in the garden for half an hour in the sunshine. Go and do some gardening. It's gardening is very, very soothing and therapeutic. Just catch up with a friend or neighbor for coffee or something like that. Talk about something else with someone. It could be just being a little bit more mindful when you're going through your daily activities. For example, I always say be more mindful when you're going through your skincare routine rather than rushing through it. It's like ticking another task off the list, Smell the products. How does it feel on your skin? It's just a little bit of extra mindfulness. And the same with if you're making yourself like a coffee or a nice chocolate or a cuppa or something like that. Just focus on pouring the water in the cup, just smelling your cup of tea or whatever it is. It's just those little mindful moments that we can do for ourselves just to help with our self-care.
Yeah, it's almost like I like to think of it as like being where your feet are, just being present in that moment. And it helps to regulate the nervous system a little bit. And I mean, I'm a classic. I make my coffee in the morning, and as soon as it's made, I'm sipping it and I'm doing other things. And it was literally about maybe 3 days ago, I went, Rebecca, most people have their coffee in the morning and they sit down and they just wake up. And, like my husband will sit and he'll read he's got this little, it's not really a meditation book. I can't remember. He'll be so upset that I can't remember what it is, but his little journal book that he sits and reads and he drinks it and he wakes up. And I'm like, okay, let's go. No wonder you feel frazzled half the time. It's so important to take that time and to be so self-aware, which obviously the good side of having burnout so much for yourself is that you can read those signs. And it is not great that you've had burnout that much, but at least you can be super in tune with your body. So I think most people just need to really be in tune with their bodies to actually start to understand when that moment is coming for them. So those are some really beautiful tips and tricks I think that you've got up your sleeve there that you've just shared. I really think they're really lovely, especially gardening. I think I've never been much of one, but I think that would be it's so therapeutic and calming and rewarding watching things grow and things like that in your life. So that's really wonderful.
And it doesn't have to be half a day or something like that.
Yeah.
Like even if you just go and play in the dirt for half an hour, pluck out some weeds or, smell the flowers or, just appreciate the nature around you. And if you have any livestock, go and kiss the sheep. That's what I do sometimes. Yeah, we got sheep as well. So they're always up for cuddle.
Oh, amazing. How wonderful. That must be so lovely.
It is.
So I would also like to touch on too, for somebody, let's just say somebody went to the supermarket, or even if they got another one of these, natural brands or any skincare product, and they had a reaction such as yourself, and maybe they themselves don't want to go down the whole discovering the organic formulation and doing that. But what advice would you give to someone who suddenly finds themselves having this reaction? What would you suggest that they then look at researching or trying, coming off, and then trying to find brands such as yourself to then mitigate all of those sort of problems?
Yeah. So I would say throw it out.
First and foremost, throw it out. Yep.
Especially if you bought it at the supermarket. Well, first of all, definitely don't go by face value. So definitely have a little look at the ingredients and things like that. Now, I do have to say, sometimes when you are changing a skincare brand, in particular when you're going from synthetic to natural, it is possible that your skin has some purging and showing some reactions. So so there's a really strong differentiator. So depends what you've been using before. Like even some of my customers, not all of them, sometimes when they are switching to my products, there might be that they're getting a couple of extra breakouts or feeling that the skin seems a little bit sensitive, and then they just have to push through. So sometimes you have to push through to come through on the other side. Skincare in general, results can take anywhere from 7 to full results up 21 days. So 21 days is when our skin renews itself. And so it just really depends on the product, and if it is a real allergic reaction or if it's just, it could be something that your skin might just need a little bit of adjusting. So I always say don't panic straight away. I mean, I think the chances are that your face swelling up and you can't see properly for days, I mean, they are quite slim. So I think it's one in a million.
But you would definitely class that as an allergic reaction as opposed to one or two little pimples that pop up, I think. Definitely. Yeah. Understanding that difference is huge.
Yes. Yep. You will definitely notice the difference. And yeah, so I mean, obviously it depends. Again, depends if you want to continue using that product or if you prefer to stop it. In most cases, I would probably, if it's really bad reaction, I would definitely say stop and have a look for something else and go and look up Merindah Botanicals.
Absolutely.
Yes. And yeah, it's, if you have a really, really nasty allergic reaction, and I would say just water and even like Sorbolin or something just to calm your skin from the reaction. Just that's what I actually did. Just water, and it's also felt really awful to touch. So someone was super sensitive when it comes to touching the face. Even some 100% natural skincare products don't feel nice on my skin. I'm like super fuzzy when it comes to, I hate facials. So everyone is different, I mean, sometimes it's something quite simple, and if it's just a bigger allergic reaction, I just probably would stop using the products altogether.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just put them into, it's just not for me, basket.
Absolutely. So let's say somebody wanted to try some Merindah Botanicals. Where could they find you? Obviously online and in some clinics?
Yes, so mainly on my website. If you are lucky to be living in Tasmania, then there's a couple of stockists in town and one on the East Coast. If you are a clinic or salon owner and are interested in stocking Merindah Botanicals, let's chat. And for anyone who would love to try Merindah Botanicals, I have a $10 trial pack. So it's 3 little sample sachets. It's $10 free shipping, and you'll even get a $10 discount code to upgrade to full size. So it's basically free.
Amazing. Well, I will link all of those in the show notes so that everyone can find you if needs be. And if you had to pick, do you have a product and out of your range that is like your favorite one? And I know that's going to change for every single person who tries it, but I'm sure everyone's got like the one product that they love.
Yes, yes, there sure is. I mean, technically, it's like having children. You shouldn't have a favorite, right? But so, I mean, I personally used to go to closet every single day, which is a 5-minute, 3-step skincare routine, which, I mean, that's just part of my day. But my absolute favorite is the invigorating body scrub. It just smells heavenly. It's addictive, if you don't mind me saying. It leaves the skin so silky soft. You might struggle to keep your partner off.
Now that's what
It's
we want.
it's very hydrating, and I always say to use it as the last step in your showering routine, and then just rinse off, pack dry, or gently pack dry. Don't want to rub it off, and then you also don't need a body lotion because it's that hydrating.
Okay, I need to cancel this right now and go buy this immediately. That
You
sounds
will not be
incredible.
disappointed. It is amazing.
That to me definitely sounds like self-care in a bottle. That's definitely living up to your sort of slogan there. That's amazing. Okay, definitely going to have to try that one. Now, Mel, would you have any pieces of advice, sort of last pieces of advice that you would give to anyone on a skincare journey, a self-discovery journey, or self-care journey?
Yes, so self-care, as I've touched on before, is lose the misconception that it has to be a day scheduled way in advance, and it has to be the perfect moon and things like that. It's not about taking a day off. It's about being more present. Get rid of the multitasking, because in the end it won't do you any good, no matter how much you pride yourself on being able to multitask. I used to be like that, and now I'm just like, yep, no, just doing one thing at a time because it doesn't serve you. And yeah, just be more present with yourself, your partner, your children, even your pets. Be there when the little ones come for a kiss and a cuddle. Be present when you're talking to your partner and not doing something else on the phone or whatnot. In regards to skincare in general, it can take time. So it's very unlikely that you will see results within using the products for a day or two. So most of the time it will take a minimum of 7 days before you start seeing results, all the way up to 21 days. And just take care of yourself. Don't get yourself burnt out.
I love that. I think that's beautiful. And I really love that you've touched on twice that it takes that time to see the results with skincare. I think we live in such an instant gratification kind of world. And I get it all the time. People come up and go, well, I tried this product and it didn't work last night. You're like, okay, I'm sorry that it didn't like fix everything. You've got years of problems built up in there and you want to fix it overnight. It's not going to happen. And I also think any product that promises to do that is lying.
Yeah, and actually the other thing was, I just remembered, so I personally always consider beautiful skin as a two-way street. You can go spend thousands of dollars on the most beautiful beauty products and beauty treatments. If your diet is crap, it will ultimately show in your skin. I also have a certificate in beauty nutrition because I am very passionate about that side of things as well. And I always I do like talking about nutrition, stress, sleep, everything, our skin, the gut, everything affects our skin, And then one other thing, and I hope that's okay to share that as well, is I see so many different posts on Facebook where people are saying, or women in particular are saying, oh, I've just noticed I've got these dark circles underneath my eyes. I need a cream. Can you recommend something? Or that's probably the best example I have at the top of my head. And they always feel like that they need to find an external solution rather than looking at what's causing the dark circles in the first place. And it's actually quite interesting because could be just at the top of my head, could be a couple of things. For example, it could be sleep deprivation. Have you been sleeping okay? It could be vitamin K deficiency. Add some spinach to your diet for a couple of weeks and see if that improves. So you don't always have to go and find a solution. Sometimes it's something that, look at the causes before you go and get rid of the symptoms.
I really love that. Again, that is also something I personally am super passionate about. I view the skin as an alarm system for something that is going on inside of the body, generally, most of the time. And again, that's the same thing. People want a topical thing, which it does help. But most of the time, it's your body saying, hey, like you said, you need more sleep. Like sleep for me, I know if I'm not sleeping, the difference in my skin is phenomenal. It's just not the same. Whereas if I get really good sleep, I feel like a goddess compared to when I wasn't. It's just there is just such a huge difference in that, and definitely things like your deficiencies, your gut health. I mean, your gut's your second brain. It definitely correlates. Your hormone imbalances affect your skin. So I think that's really cool, and I really love that you have that nutrition side of your business. I think that's incredible. I definitely love
Thank
that.
you. I've actually written a whole book on how to take care of your skin from the inside out. So if anyone's interested, it's called Beautiful Skin from the Inside Out. And I list a whole lot of causes, if your chin's got a bit of a different skin tone, and how to fix things internally as well. So if anyone's interested, I'm happy to share the link with you.
Yeah,
to
please.
pass on
If you
for the
can
show
send us
notes.
all the link, I'll definitely put that in the show notes. I think that is something that we need to be educating people on more and more as well, because it's like going to the gym and doing a workout and then eating McDonald's every single day. Like it's not you're not gonna get fit. You're not gonna get the body, or going once and expecting it to do something. You have to, like you say, it's a two-way street, and our health is skin, it's internal, it's everything. I think that's really, really fascinating. I love that. I think more people are going that way as well, definitely.
They should too, yes.
Yeah, they should do. If they're not, they should.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Merindah. I feel like that you have so much knowledge and you are doing so many wonderful things. And I hope that one day, in about a year or so, we turn around and Merindah Botanicals has taken over Australia, worldwide.
That would be amazing.
It certainly would. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me back.
Thanks for watching this episode of Your Glow Coat. If you found something helpful, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps the show grow. Don't forget to subscribe for more chats on skincare, the signs of feeling good in your skin, health and wellness. Leave us a comment. We'd love to know your thoughts and what your favourite moment was, and give us a follow on Instagram. See you in the next one.